Can you guys hear me okay? I had myself muted the whole time. I gave a whole speech. You guys missed the entire thing. I've been talking for like 60 seconds. All right, let me start over. Welcome to my show, Energy Readings with Shelby Aesthetic. Man, I'm telling you, man, it was top notch, and now you guys missed all of it. So I'm not gonna repeat it. I'm just kidding. All right, so this show is about meditation. A lot of it's going to be about my experiences on meditation and some of the things that I've learned and still learning. I'm a huge fan of meditation. I used to, didn't think I could do it or didn't know how to do it, and it was boring and, all the things that you typically hear. And something just clicked with me one day, so that's kind of some of the stuff I want to talk about. Before we get too far into it, I appreciate everybody that's here tonight, and everybody that's listening out there. We are broadcasting from IntuiTalks.com. IntuiTalks is an awesome network. If you don't know about it, you should definitely look into it. It's Jenny's. She's the owner of the site. She's done an amazing job bringing a community of people together. It's a safe spiritual community, a place where like-minded individuals can go. And even if you don't agree with everything that's on one show, there's tons of other shows that are on there. Lots and lots of archives to listen to, and then lots of live shows too. If you're interested in your own podcast, even this is extremely affordable. And it's a network where you're really free to explore your spirituality and discuss it with others. That's why I love it so much, because I feel like it brings a smorgasbord of ideas and inspirations together in one spot. So you can also listen to the reruns. If you can't get into archives, you can go onto YouTube, the IntuiTalks YouTube channel, and it also is on other platforms. But this is where the main place is. Let's see. So this week, right after this show, at 10 Eastern, Kathleen Moore is going to be on Curious Times, psychic medium Kathleen Moore. She's been in this field for 2 decades, I think she said. And she's a really neat lady. So if you have a chance to get over there later tonight, check out Curious Times. Curious Times is my favorite. I love that show. Chris Times does an amazing job bringing various guests on all the time. She's going to have Selva Dutton on January 11th at 10 Eastern. There's another show on January 13th at 6:30 Eastern. Dorothy Holder will be on Angel Meadows, and Amy Kavanaugh. She's going to go live on Curious Times January 13th at 10 Eastern. That will be a fun show. She's always a blast to listen to. So check out all of this stuff. There's lots of stuff in the archives, too. There's a Teaching Tuesday show. I'm sure you guys have heard me mention that a time or two. There's, it's like a gold mine of information in those archives. There's readings on there, but there's also lots and lots of learning opportunities if you're developing, or even if you've been doing this for a long time. There's a lot of good information on there. Small Elk is another host. Jenny Satori, of course, is on there. She's got her last show that I went to. That was awesome. She does really fun shows. And then, of course, there's Distant Meadows. So come check out everything and get familiar and meet some new people. And or you can do like I do. I'm a lurker. I don't really participate as much in the chat, mostly because I'm asleep. But when they're on really late. But check out the archives. I've met some amazing people through this platform. All right. So with all that said, I hope you guys had an enjoyable holiday, if you celebrated any of them, and a happy New Year. I, for one, I was pretty pleased to see 2018 go, and I'm ready for a new year. I don't know what it is about the start of a new year, but I'm always so hopeful and inspired to do a lot of things. 2018 was a really good year for me, of course, but every year has been the last couple of years, really. But toward the end of the year, I got so busy with life, family, and things going on in my own, world that so I kind of had to step away for just a minute. But I'm back, at least as long as my computer's running. I'll be here. All right, so we're going to talk about meditation, and we're going to keep it as simple as I can. I'm trying to keep it within an hour, so I apologize if I go over or under. We'll just see what we can get through. The first question I have, though, was what is meditation? And to me, well, I guess to me it's about connecting to myself. And then when you look up the actual definition, it says it's a practice where an individual uses a technique to train attention awareness and achieve a mentally clear and emotionally calm state. So, and we all want that, right? We want to be clear as we can be in our thinking and calm as we can be emotionally so that we're not reacting to everything that happens in front of us. And that's really where a lot of our own personal power comes from, is when we're not reacting mentally or emotionally to anything, and we can really hold the energy back and let things happen as they will and view them without attachment. There's a couple of different forms of meditation. There's, of course, the focused, and then there's the mindfulness. So the focused meditations are focusing your attention basically on an object or breathing or an image, even words, mantras, stuff like that, manifesting, healing, stuff like that. And then, of course, there's mindfulness, which is very non-reactive monitoring of your experiences that are happening from moment to moment. So I think that's where a lot of people are mostly accustomed to hearing about meditation, is you're just supposed to sit there and be free and clear of thought. And then some practices use a little bit of both. I don't know about you guys, but when I first started meditating, I did not like the idea of sitting down, my legs crossed and back straight and trying to clear my mind. I wasn't in a space where I felt like, I could do that. I felt very attached to my environment, the things that were going on around it, especially if you have children. It can be so difficult. I know my wife struggles with it now. She works so hard. So when she comes home, she just wants to sit there and veg out, watch TV or something. So it can be hard, to get in the hustle and bustle of daily life and not be able to find times that are quiet for yourself. So, I had to start out doing very small steps with this. And my wife, she always does her meditations a lot in the shower when she's taking a shower, and she does visualization and energetically she always looks fresh when she comes out. And I'm sure some of it has to do with, cleaning, getting clean and kind of putting yourself in that state. But I really believe in energy, and I believe when you focus on it and you command your space, then those things can develop for you in a way that make you feel good. So my experiences in the beginning were not me just sitting still and not having thoughts. So I would close my eyes and, I'd breathe in through my nose, out through my mouth, but I was just bombarded by my own energy that I hadn't cleared out. So the biggest thing for me before I meditate, I have to be grounded. If I'm not grounded, and that is part of meditation in my world, if I'm not grounded, I'm not going to have a good meditation. I'll be seeing all kinds of weird stuff and hearing other people's thoughts and images in my mind, and it gets crazy. So grounding is a big one, clearing your energy. And we'll kind of do a run through of all of this stuff towards the end of the show. So there is no. I want to say one thing too. There is not really a right way or a wrong way to meditate. There's lots of opinions on how to do it. There's Eastern people that do it a certain way, and Western people that do it a certain way. But really, it's important for you to find what works for you. So there's no. I tell everybody to explore as much as possible. you know, read all the information you can, talk to people that meditate, ask them how they do it, and kind of come up with your own thing. That's exactly what I did. So in the very beginning, for me, like I said, I did struggle with the whole just being quiet and being still. But I was also learning about energy, and I learned, especially with music, I learned that my energy would react to those things. So I found some music that I enjoyed, and it wasn't like bells dinging on the Tibetan mountains. It wasn't monks chanting. It was nothing like that. It was actually rather upbeat. It was fun music. It was something that I thoroughly enjoyed. And I had made myself a playlist, and I would just sit there and listen to it, and I would watch and feel how my body would react to the energy that was going on, and when the song would change, how would my energy react? So what I was doing was learning myself. I was learning my energy. I was learning how energetically I was communicating with things outside myself, even though my eyes were closed. And I would just lay there. And I had worked myself up to doing, little 5-minute, meditations, to sneaking away from work at lunch just so I could meditate in the middle of the day because I enjoyed it so much. I'm not recommending that you sneak away from work or anything, but that was just my experience. I found something that worked for me, and it meant a lot to me because it was the first time that energetically speaking, it was the first time that I found something that I was really able to communicate with. So music was a big, big deal for me. You can lay down, you can stand up, you can sit down. Some people practice meditation with their posture. I think the biggest thing, no matter what we're doing, is keeping that raw part of ourselves. I think the Buddhists call it the monkey mind. Just to keep that still by practicing. You have to practice active meditations that work for you. And by active meditations, even that could be anything to wipe out the repetitive thinking that you have. Laundry is a big one for me. So there's 3 people that live in my home, my wife and my son, and I'm responsible for the laundry, and I hate doing laundry. So I'll walk into my room sometimes, and there's like this laundry monster sitting there. It's like 6 days worth of laundry between 3 people, and I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to do this. But I'll get started on it, and I'll get all the stuff put in the baskets, and I'll take all the baskets into my room, and then I start folding everything and putting everything up, getting the wrinkles out of everything. Just putting everything on hangers, putting the stuff up in drawers, the folding, and it's like this. I don't know, if something comes over me. It's a peace that comes over me. And a lot of times I'll listen to, I'll have music on if I want to, or sometimes I just like it to be quiet, but it's just my body and my mind are busy, and it allows opportunity for me to have a stillness in my deep mind, my higher mind, and I'm able to really connect to my soul that way. So to me, that is also, as active as it is, that is also a form of meditation. Like I mentioned earlier, my wife in the shower, and using that to clear herself. Housework, dusting, vacuuming, anything that's it's repetitiveness, something that you're focused on enough that you can allow information to come through. Another really popular one are walking meditations. Anytime you're outside in nature, it's a good thing. Your energy's grounding anyway at that point. But to just walk and let the thoughts come in. I think that's the struggle that people have, is they believe they're not supposed to have thoughts come in, or they're not supposed to be thinking about, or they'll be laying there or walking or whatever, and their mind will drift to work, or their mind will drift to an argument that they had with somebody, and pretty soon they have like a whole scenario set up on all the things that they should have said, or that you forgot to feed the cat, or just it could be any number of anything that comes through, and that's normal. So if that happens to you, don't get frustrated, or don't get angry with yourself more than anything. That's one thing I find that people do more often than not, is they get so frustrated with themselves because their mind wanders. Part of that is your energy needs to be cleared, but part of that is practice. So, and if anybody that's gone to the gym or that runs regularly or does any kind of exercise understands that the more that you do something, the more you do a particular exercise, the stronger you are at it, the bigger your muscle becomes. And your mind is absolutely very much the same way. You'll find yourself in the beginning letting your mind wander, and all you do is realize your mind has wandered and recenter yourself. 2 minutes later or even 20 seconds later, your mind may wander again. It's nothing to be frustrated about. It's nothing to be angry about. And it's nothing to beat yourself up about. It's just what's happening in that moment. The biggest thing is not to react to it. So once you realize it's happening, to bring yourself back in. Prayer is another great form. I believe prayer is like a meditation to me. And that's a very focused form of meditation. We had talked about different forms a minute ago. When you're praying, you're setting an intention, you're opening communication up with something, and you're focused on what you're saying, on what you're talking about, or even what you're asking about. So to me, and it's all spiritual work. And as long as any of these things resonate with you or work for you, that's all that matters. And again, of course, I have music on here, which again, there's no wrong or right way. There's no wrong music. There's no right music. You just do what works for you. I remember explaining to this woman when I was really getting into meditating, and she said, "Oh, I love meditating. Well, how do you do it?" And so I mentioned that, I listen to music. Well, and she said, "Well, you don't need to do that, especially if it has lyrics, because, it can, And I said, "Listen, if I'm having certain energetic reactions to it, and that's what feels right to me, I'm okay with it." And as I've gone on, I don't usually listen to music too much anymore. I think most of the time now I listen to like binaural beats. But I have a hard time with that because I can't hear out of one of my ears. But you can adjust the frequency on a lot of the, there's apps, YouTube channel or Google Play or whatever you listen to. So there's lots of different ways that you can do the music. There's also meditations that you can listen to where people will sort of guide you through things, and that's also a great thing because it gives you ideas. Right? So like there's one, there's probably a million of them titled this. I'm going to tell you this. If you Google it, you'll probably hit like 15 of them. But there's ones where you can work with specific chakras. There's ones where you can meet your higher self. I mean, there's so much information out there. And I say try all of them. And if something just doesn't, like, if you hear about it and it just sounds like the most boring thing known to man, don't do it. Just, try something else. So another part of this discussion that I have written down is the many meditation traditions advise not using mood or mind-altering drugs or alcohol, while others, such as the Rastafarian or Native American Church, they view them as integral. So that's like an important part of it. So again, use discretion. Like what works for you may not work for someone else. But if you feel that it's the right way to go, then I'm not here to say whether it's right or wrong. Got to do what feels right to you. And I won't give my opinion on it other than to say that. So what can meditation bring us? Calmness, happiness, self-realization, soul connections, opportunities to communicate with deceased loved ones, other entities, even living people, their energy. You can communicate with people that are alive. Your pets or animals, earth, plants, God, manifestations, clear goals that you want to do in life. But it can also bring boredom and frustration, especially if you're in the very beginning stages of it. And I wanted to make sure to write that down and say that because I just don't want, I know there's so many people that get so frustrated about the beginnings of trying to learn to meditate. There's always distractions around us in the world, and we have got to bring ourselves to a place where we can block those distractions and keep that sort of energy outside of our own so that we can continue to do what we need to do for our own spiritual growth. A good example is I'm very empathic, and I've always practiced on stretching my energy out. And that's a good thing. It also can be frustrating for me when I try to meditate. I live in an apartment, and my downstairs neighbor, her husband has terminal cancer, and he's about to pass away. And then, of course, I have neighbors, you know, on the other side of me and behind me. And sometimes I will feel them in my meditations, and I'll have to pull my energy back in, and I'll have to remember to keep my energy to myself. So I mean, all of that's like really important stuff too, because you know, on the other hand, that if I'm feeling some of these things, especially if I'm feeling sadness or anger with somebody, then I know that I not only could bring my energy back into myself, but I can also I can block that from my home, but I can send energy to the people below me as well. When I clear my house, they're below me, so their house is getting cleared on top of that, and it's not, I'm not trying to be intrusive in that way, but I'm clearing my house, and I certainly don't want to leave my own energetic mess on top of anybody else, so I push it all the way down. But I feel like that part of that's responsible, you know, being responsible with my energy. So when you're meditating, a lot of times you may feel the people that live around you. You may feel people that you are employed with or that you communicate with regularly. If you're thumbing through Facebook right before you go to meditate, you may have picked up some of their energy, and you'll start seeing all kinds of wacky stuff and like, where did this come from, and why am I thinking about this? And it's all about clearing ourselves and finding who we are. Meditation is the perfect opportunity to learn discernment between where you start and end and where someone else does, because we have to learn our own energy in order to work with it to the best of our ability. So in the very beginnings of things, sometimes it can be very confusing and very frustrating. So if you're in that place, I understand. Just keep going. Don't stop, because the more you do it, the stronger you will become in meditation. I always tell my teacher, my mentor, if I didn't have a family and it was up to me, that's all I would do. I would just want to do that all the time, because I find so much peace from it and answers to the things that I'm searching for. And now I feel like a lot of times I've gotten to a place where I go into meditation thinking I want to seek information. A lot of times I just want to sit in the light of myself, my holy God self, if you want to call it, your I am presence, your God, your source, whatever you want to say, whatever you want to call it, your being, your higher self. That's what I want to sit in. I want to, I want to wash my energy out with all of that stuff. So practicing meditation is a form of exercise for your mind. We've talked a little bit about that. More than anything, I'll repeat this again. Clearing energy during your meditations can bring about a calmness, because you aren't carrying the weight of everyone around you. You will be amazed at some of these meditations, just these active meditations where you're doing energy work. You will be amazed at how much more calm you feel, how much less reactive to emotional situations that you become. And even more than that, you'll find that you have an inner peace, and you'll be able to have your own inner guidance. You'll start to trust yourself more and more. Practice, practice, practice. This is the only way to achieve any goal, and meditation is the same. And the more methods you try, and the longer that you're doing this, the easier and easier it becomes. For me, it was so important for me in the very beginning to have something that it was like lined out for me, right? So I had these steps that I had to do. It was very organized. It was the most organized meditation probably anybody's. I was like had bullet points and pictures and all of this stuff, and I would crack my eye open if I couldn't remember something, and it was just I had to get it right, and I would stress about it. I would stress about am I doing these okay? Is this working? And now I'm much more relaxed about it. So again, I needed that though. I needed that in the beginning. I needed that structure, or at least the belief that things were structured around me. And I needed to have that for confidence because I didn't know how to trust myself, and I didn't know if the information I was receiving, where the hell it was coming from, and who's talking to me, and who's this lady who's in my mind, and what all of these other things. And sometimes I was so scared in the beginning. I had meditation cheat sheet. That's perfect, Jenny. I had to have that because that's what helped me stay focused, and that's what led me down the path that I'm on now, which is I'm still a student of learning everything all the time. But at least most of the time now I feel like I can do it, without having to have bullet points for everything. So I would never make fun of anybody for doing that because that's definitely what I had to do. And meditation, I was scared to do it also because a lot of you guys out there are psychic or mediums, and so on top of just trying to center yourself and meditate and try to be calm, you're going to pick spirit up, and sometimes that can be really overwhelming, especially if you don't know what it is, and you can incite fear, which you'll think is whatever you think it is, some horrible beast, but maybe it's just you. Maybe it's your own thought forms that you're picking up, and then how do you deal with those? And a great way to deal with the fear that's lodged in our bodies is through meditation. There's a calmness that comes over you. It's irreplaceable and unbelievable. Especially I would say for empaths and people that are doing spiritual work, or if you're working around a lot of people like retail, or if you're heavily involved with people with grief, counseling or something like that, it's super important to clear your energy so that you can figure out who you are and where you are. One of the things that we're going to do tonight when we start this meditation is we're just going to try to be aware of sensations that we have. They may be physical sensations, but they might not be. You might not feel anything. We'll talk about visualization, and I've had a couple of emails come through since the last show that I did on Soul Connection, and they all said the same thing. Well, you said I need to see this happen, and I can't see anything, and that's okay. You don't have to see it like it's like you're at a movie theater necessarily. Not everybody sees and feels the same way. I think I think everybody to some degree has empathic ability. And so we are so used to feeling things that we don't even realize what we're feeling sometimes. There's a friend of mine, she's extraordinary psychic. She does tarot. She's a beautiful young lady, but she doesn't see like I see, and it bothers her. And to me, I'm looking at her and I'm like, "Are you kidding me? You're like a walking radio tower." She just picks all of this information up, but she just knows. So she's a knower, and I feel personally like that's probably the majority of human beings is they know. They have a sense of knowing. But we do it so naturally we don't understand that's what's happening because we hear podcasts and read books and listen to radio shows and watch TV shows that talk about, well, I see this and I see that and I see this and I can hear this name, and sometimes you don't hear a name, sometimes you know a name, or sometimes you don't see a color, you know a color. And I will even do that sometimes in the reading. I might not see the color red, but I'll know it's there. So it's all about, how we're picking things up. And I also think the more that we're practicing with those things, the more we develop other parts of ourselves. Spirit is going to come to us. And when I say spirit, I'm not just talking about those that have crossed over. I'm talking about our own soul connection. The spirit will come to us the best way it thinks it's going to be able to get through. And if just a simple knowing, a natural knowing is the best way to communicate with you, that's how it's going to happen. You can ask to see better. You can do meditations to, open certain chakras. You can do whatever you want and try to develop those things. I say go for it. But do what works best for you. It doesn't matter if, if I see the color red, or if you know the color red, or if you hear somebody say the word red. The point is that the information is getting there, and it's just as valuable. We're so, I think especially Americans, we're so hung up on, television and the rock stars on TV and, the movies and Hollywood, and we're so based on visual things that a lot of times I think if we don't see it, we can't believe it. And that's where we really shortchange ourselves, because there is a plethora of ways that spirit communicates to you. Smells. I have another friend, another psychic. She smells everything. She knows what you ate for lunch. She knows, because she can smell it, and I find that fascinating. And some of us will have all of these different ways that spirit communicates with us. So, to me, it's about finding and understanding your own methods of communication. It's like an accent. Nobody talks the same way, so we certainly can't expect spirit to do that. And a lot of you that are listening that are psychic, you understand that the same way that one spirit communicates with you will be completely different than the way that another spirit will come to you. A fine example of that is a reading I did where somebody's mother came through, and all I could see was it looked like a propane gas or something was in front of me, and everywhere I'd look, I thought something was wrong with my eyes. I would squint, and then I'd look behind me, and it wasn't there, and then I'd look ahead of me, and it was just like floating in my vision, in my field of vision. So I just relaxed for a minute. I relaxed, and that's when I could feel her. I could feel the sensations, and then I started getting images of information that would come through. And then I followed that up with another reading a few hours later, where it was literally like seeing somebody, a physical apparition standing in front of me. So two totally different ways. And then there's one lady I do readings for. I never see spirit, but I will hear it. So it's all about listening and understanding all that stuff. And we get to those places that, to me, not everybody does this, but to me we get to those places through meditation, and we understand. That's what I'm talking about. If you can meditate to discern where you start and where spirit starts, or another human being or a plant or an animal, the more you understand yourself, the better you can communicate with anything that is trying to communicate with you. Plants is the fun one. All right, so let's, we got 25 minutes. So I don't think the meditation will last that long, but I just don't want to run out of time. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. And if there's room at the end of the show, then we can continue with some discussion. But I think I got the gist of it out. So this is going to be kind of a mix between the two different meditations that we talked about. It'll be about focus, and it'll also be about mindfulness. And what I want you to do while I'm talking is to just feel anything, and take any ideas of communication that you have and throw that crap out the door. And be open to anything that you see or feel. You may not feel a thing. You may not see a thing. You may not hear a thing. Nothing may happen. You may be bored out of your mind. But don't give up, because this is where you start to learn. When I'm meditating, especially with one of the exercises that we're going to do, I will physically in my body, I will start to feel things. So get comfortable. And just take a few deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. And you can sit or lay down, whatever is most comfortable to you. And just breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. And just sort of focus now on the middle of your chest where your heart would be. Just think about that area. You don't have to do anything but just focus on that area. And it can look like anything you want it to look like. And you'll take a deep breath in through your nose. And as you blow out, you'll expand that chakra so it gets wider and wider. Till it gets so big that you're just standing in the middle of this bubble. You'll take another deep breath in. And when you do, picture the top of your crown chakra, as a disc, a plate that's sitting on the top of your head. And let it expand wider and wider. And take a deep breath in and let the light of Source above you, God, Source, your own higher self, whatever you feel comfortable with, pour in, just like a waterfall pouring in through the top. And you'll feel it, maybe, or see it, imagine it, pouring into the heart and filling it up. Once you feel like your heart chakra is full, you'll take a deep breath in through your nose, and as you blow out, you'll push that energy down through your solar plexus, through your sacral chakra, your root chakra, keep going all the way down. You may feel pull at your perineum, past your knees, past your ankles, and push it out through the bottom of your feet and keep going with it. Ride the wave down. We're going to go all the way down to the center of the earth. You may feel heavy. You may get hot. But keep going. Don't stop. Just keep going all the way down. And when you get down there, you can stand, sit, lay, whatever you want. And once you're down there, you can ask the earth to sync energies with you. And you'll breathe in through your mouth and pull that energy up through the bottom of your feet, past your ankles, past your knees, all the way up, past your hips and into your heart. And we're now anchored. We're grounded. We're going to come back up and bring that energy back up into our body, into our physical body. It might go fast and it might go slow. And you'll keep pulling that earth energy up until it reaches your heart and your physical body. I usually visualize at this time the earth in my heart chakra, because this is how we're going to stay anchored. You just take a few deep breaths. Go ahead and take a deep breath in through your nose, a big deep breath. And as you blow out, push the energy up. Take that earth and go up through your throat, past your third eye, out of the top of your head, all the way up. Keep going all the way up. And you can picture Source however you want, as a sun, as God, whatever you see up there. Light. And just as similar as we were grounded into the earth, we're going to anchor into Source. And I can usually tell when I'm anchored because that earth becomes white that I see in my heart chakra. And once that's filled, take a deep breath in through my nose, and I pull that energy back into my physical body at the heart. And take your time with it. If I talk too fast, you can just come back to it later. It might go fast, it might go slow. Once you feel you're anchored, or you imagine that you're anchored into Source, or even that you visualize it, I want you to ground all of that energy all one more time down to the earth. Now that we're anchored and everybody's anchored in, so that's what I did. The first thing I do is I ground. Now at this time, you kind of want to clear your energy out. So you can do this by envisioning an etheric tornado, and usually it appears white or purple to me. It can be whatever color you see. It can be a waterfall of light, a shower that you're standing under. Whatever you want, just let it pour down on top of you and sweep through your energy. You can even imagine a broom if you want, sweeping through your energy. Or you can use your hands. But just clear your energy and imagine or visualize if you can and do it until it feels clear or looks clear to you or feels clear. And if you're not sure, that's okay. But we're just sweeping our energy out right now. Like I said, I like to use that etheric tornado, and I bring it all the way down from Source through the crown. And it's very wide, it's huge. And I let it go all the way down to the center of the earth. So just spend a few minutes doing that. We'll give it about 60 seconds. All right. So now that we're grounded and we're cleared, we're going to recenter. So you'll focus on the center of your heart one more time. And you can imagine your heart chakra to be any color that you want. And the light that's coming in, all that light that's running through you, that's pure Source energy. That's divine energy. That is you. That is your energy. You are safe. And there's nothing that can harm you when you are surrounding yourself like that with your own light. So take some of that energy that's in your heart now. And I want you to focus on your left pinky toe right now. And I want you to take that energy that's in your heart, and you can do it through breath, visualization, commanding it however you want, and push that energy down, all the way down your leg. And focus on your left pinky toe. Push it in your pinky toe. And see it in your mind. And you'll see in your mind the tip of this toe light up. Just stay focused on this and feel that area and keep pushing it down there. You may get, my foot's tingling now. You may get physical sensations or heat. And keep going until it's full, and it'll start spilling over into the next toe. Keep pushing that energy until all of your toes fill up. All 5 of your toes. You notice your foot's going to start filling up now. All that energy is coming through there. It's filling your whole foot up. You can feel it maybe coming up your ankles, creeping up your leg. Keep pulling it up. Let it fill up into the calf muscle. You'll feel it deep in your muscles and your veins. Keep going all the way into your knee, into your thigh, all the way up into your pelvis. And let it spill over into the right side of your leg now. Focus on that right pinky toe because that's where we're going to push the energy now. You'll feel it becoming full and filling the rest of your toes up, your ankles, just pouring in there. This may come to you quickly. It may take you a long time to do it. There's no wrong way. Let it fill up past your ankle, all the way into your knee. Keep going until both those legs are full and solid with light. It's like wearing chaps. Let the energy keep pooling up, filling up into your pelvis. You'll feel your root chakra is full. You may see or feel the area surrounding get heavy or hot, may tingle. Keep filling it up. Keep pouring the endless light of the divine through your whole body. Fill your stomach, your intestines, everything's getting filled with light. And breathe in and know that your sacral chakra is filling up the front and the back. It's rising up into the solar plexus and all the areas surrounding that. Your ribs, drink in the light and just keep letting it fill all the way up. And if you notice anything causing the energy to sort of pool up or stick, resist, you can gently nudge it. And if it just doesn't want to move, don't force it. Just keep going. Keep going. Let your heart fill up now, because this is where we're starting from. This is we're at the heart now. You can feel the heart, the chest, and the spine. Your back is full. You might feel like you're beginning to float at this point. I do. And there's nothing to be scared of because you are in your own energy. Fill it up. Keep going. And let it pool up into the throat, your teeth, tongue, tonsils if you have them. You can feel it in my ears now. Get your sinuses, your nose, the back of your third eye. Let it all just be consumed by this light. That's your own light, your own source energy. That divine light is you, and that's your birthright to feel. Keep going to the top of the head until it starts to overflow out of the top of your head. And let it. Keep it going. Let it pour down your body, on the outside of your body now. Let all that energy start pouring all over your skin, turning everything just solid light. It might look or feel like a different color to you. You might know it's a different color. Just keep going. Let it flow all the way down your torso, your hips, your legs, all the way down your legs, front and back, all the way to your feet. Just let it pool at your feet. Now take a deep breath in and pull that energy up through the bottoms of your feet quickly now. The energy will go all the way up. Pull it up, 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 up your legs, up the body. Take a deep breath. Keep breathing. Past your arms, your heart, your throat. And as you reach the crown chakra, take a deep breath out and watch the glorious eruption of light around you. And take just a moment to visualize this process if you can. It's like a shower of your own light. And as it once again rains down upon you, let it flow all the way onto the outside of your skin. That eruption will cause it to go way outside of your body. Let it fill your whole channel up now. It's like a great explosion of light. And let it roll all the way back down again. And once it starts going all the way down to your feet, you're going to one more time take a deep breath when you're ready and pull that energy back through the body once more until it goes all the way through your crown, and exhale. And you can repeat this as many times as you want. So one more time, take a deep breath in, pull it up. When you get to the heart, let it go into your throat, your third eye, right around your crown chakra, blow out. I'm going to give you guys just one more minute to do this as many times as you want. All right. How did that go for you guys? I felt lots of energy. It was real hot. And that is I love doing that exercise, and I could do that. I could do that all day long. And I got to be careful and remember that I live on planet Earth, not in not on Meditation Mountain. Because I really do enjoy that so much. It feels so good. I'm curious that anybody that's out there listening, please, you can always email me. I'll give you my information toward the end of the show. But let me know what kind of sensations that you had, and what about you guys in the chat room? Did anybody notice anything, see anything physical, emotional, spiritual? Because all of those things is talking to you. Your energy is constant. Everybody's energy. Everything is energy. It's constantly communicating with you. And being able to be in your own energy and meditate, you're really focused on the communication with yourself. You know, with that divine light that is God is you. You know, the breath of life, if you want to call it, or the Christ, or whatever it is. It's you. That is you, and you own it. So, and it is our birthright to be able to do those things. So, Jenny said there's lots of fire yet peaceful. That is very interesting. And I like the fire thing. So that's a good thing that you said that, because I think a lot of times when we're doing meditations, or if we're doing guided meditations especially, we may see or feel something that the person's not even talking about at all, or maybe they are talking about the color purple and you see it as orange, or if you're talking about water and somebody uses fire, it's whatever resonates with you. This is all super, super important. I cannot say that enough times. Doing this particular meditation, I always find, it keeps my own vital energy, my own divine energy flowing smoothly and freely through all my bodies. It harmonizes me. And I'll get in there and get really detailed. Places that I felt resistance, or I couldn't move light very well, or it was slow or sluggish, I'll get in there and really do a lot of detailed work. I feel it moves. I visualize veins, the meridians in the body, even you can organs. And if you have a poor old liver like me, you can talk to it, communicate with it, and just discuss things with it. If you want to say that, but energetically, you're feeding it light. And all of these things, the whole process of meditation is so different for so many people. And I find that that's one of the most beautiful things about meditation is it doesn't have to be just one way. I like to use little bits of things that I hear here or there, or that somebody's says something that they've done. My wife has told me something that she saw when she was meditating one time, and I'm like, oh my God, that's so cool, and it made me want to try it. So I love the communication. You guys, keep communicating with each other, with me, with everybody, especially energetically, because if you're a clairvoyant, or if you're not a clairvoyant, and you can just feel energy, or energy, then you understand the importance of the thoughts and experiences that we have and how they relate to each other. And meditation can really fill in those small particles around us energetically with light. And some people do this in varied ways. Doesn't sound anything like that I'm saying. They do it through prayer, or however they do it, and it doesn't matter as long as it works for them. So with that, I suppose we're out of time. So I want to thank everybody for being here today. If you'd like to reach me, you can find me on almost all social media platforms at Third Eye Betty, THIRD, Third Eye Betty. You can also find me at thirdeyebetty.com. I have a website through IntuiTalks, so definitely check out IntuiTalks and become part of this amazing community. And thank you all so much for being here. I feel very supported tonight, and I appreciate that. And I hope that all of you had fun, and I had fun. And I don't have a show right now planned. I've got, like I said, there's some family things that I'm leery to post anything, way too far out there. So my plan is to come back weekly. So follow me on Twitter or Facebook to keep up with upcoming shows. And I will try to get more consistent, but it will probably be closer to March before that's able to happen, where I'm able to post, several weeks out worth of shows that I'm doing. I have them, I just don't want to post them because I'm not really sure about some things that are about to happen, but I know something is. So thank you again, and please, I'd love to connect with you, so please find me on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or IntuiTalks.com and reach out to me. Let's get to know each other. And I appreciate you guys all again. And until next time, bye.